Do you think your progress in the gym has been lackluster and you're not making the gains you was expecting? Well, here's 6 reasons why you're not making progress in the gym that you've never thought of. Now, number 1 is very simple, you're just downplaying your progress. With the height of social media, you might have been led to believe that your progress is very slow when it actually isn't. You're just comparing yourself to people online who have been training far longer than you, thinking they haven't. There's so many people online and so many videos where it looks like people are making tremendous progress, which you aren't making, but you need to check your strength. If your numbers are going up and you're improving within the gym, you are making progress, even though you might think it's really slow. Number 2 is you're not as consistent as you think. If you can't confidently say that for the last 6 months you've been to the gym every day for the sessions you've intended to, now let me clarify, I say every day you've intended to go, not every day. But if you haven't done that, then that means you're probably not as consistent as you think you are. And that's going to be what's holding you back. Let's say you intend to train for 2 days every week for 6 months. If you miss a session here and there, it does add up eventually, and over the years you might have ended up missing out on months of progress from not going to the gym. I seriously can't remember the last time I skipped a session that I intended on doing, and I've been training 10 years now. And it shows because my progress is linear with how I feel I've been training. Next up is your training structure actually good? So many people have mediocre training structures which limits them to training each muscle group maybe once a week, and they're having too many rest days which they don't actually need. You might be implementing a rest day during your training thinking it's benefiting you when it actually isn't. Within your training program, you want to make sure you're training each muscle group at least twice a week and only giving yourself 2 to 3 days rest in between each muscle group, unless you need more, which you shouldn't need if you're not really new to the gym and you've been training for a few months. Now, within those workouts, ideally you want to train each muscle group at least 4 hard sets a week. This should be the bare minimum, and when I say 4 sets, I mean 4 sets taken to or close to failure. Number 4, you maybe haven't played around with your training yet. If you feel like your progress has stalled, maybe it has, and it's time to play around with your exercises and your exercise execution and what movements you're doing. Anything such as changing your rep scheme from higher reps to lower reps, or changing around exercises. For example, you might have a specific row which is heavy in the contraction movement, so you should change to a row where it's heaviest in the stretch position. That'll just help you adapt to different ways of moving. You can also change exercises such as doing normal squats to heel elevated squats, or switching from barbell bench press flat to an incline press. All these things over time, if you change them, it should help you get past a plateau, especially if you've been plateauing for months and months on end. Number 5 is something very important, and it's tracking your lifts and your weight. Now, I hear so many people in the gym saying they track the lifts, and when I ask them, what they mean is they're doing it mentally. I say, how do you track your lifts? They'll go, oh, I do it mentally, I remember what I do each session. But that's not the way you want to go about it. You want a specific logbook or an app where you're actually tracking your lifts each session. Not only does this allow you to see if you're making progressions each month, but it'll also give you a bit more info on things like if you need more rest or more intensity within your training. Other things can also be signs if you're improving, such as your range of motion, your form on an exercise, or your rep speeds increasing, which will determine if you're actually making good progress without necessarily looking at the weights going up. And number 6 is, are you actually pushing yourself? Now, when I say are you actually pushing yourself, I don't just mean going to failure. What I mean is, so many times in the gym myself, there's been times where I've had a set rep and set weight scheme for a certain exercise, and I've refused to go past that certain amount of reps. So for example, if I'm doing lateral raises, I might be getting 7 to 8 reps, and I've been on that same amount of reps for months on end. And then there's one session where I think, you know what, screw it, I'm going to up the weight to the higher next one, the dumbbell higher up, so it'll be like 2 kilos, and just see how I get on. And lo and behold, I end up achieving the same amount of reps as I was struggling on previously, but with a heavier weight. So don't be making an imaginary wall of progression where you think you can't pass that wall until you've achieved a certain amount of reps. If you feel confident upping the weight and you feel like you can do it, go ahead and do it. It could be the thing that helps you break past a plateau. Now, obviously, you need to do this carefully and within reason and know when to do it, so it does need a bit of experience, because you don't want to be just throwing weights on willy-nilly. But if you've been stuck on a certain exercise or a certain weight for a given time, load up a bit of weight, see how it feels and if it moves well, because more often than not, you might surprise yourself. Now, if after implementing some of these tips, you still seem to be struggling with your progress, then you can check out my coaching by the link in the description, and I'll help you achieve better progress like I have with hundreds of other people through my online app. And I'll be sure to keep helping you in your journey until you're satisfied. So guys, thank you for watching. I'll leave another video up here if you're interested in watching that. Please please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you later.